women's rights encompass the freedom to make decisions about their bodies, particularly regarding safe and legal abortion, highlighting the ongoing struggle for reproductive rights and personal autonomy. Recently, the US Supreme Court is examining Idaho's strict Republican-backed abortion ban against federal law, which ensures patients can access emergency care. Idaho is among those states to enact near total abortion bans without exceptions for pregnant patients' health, whereas Arizona's recent Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe v. Wade and implementing one of the strictest abortion bans in the country has ignited debate. We'll explore further, but first, let's understand Roe v. Wade and the current scenario. In 1973, Roe v. Wade changed the American Constitution by legalizing abortion nationwide. The Supreme Court's groundbreaking decision established that a woman's right to privacy, protected by the Due Process Clause of the Fourth Amendment, also applies to a woman who decides to terminate a pregnancy. But it also recognizes the state's interest in regulating abortion to protect the health and life potential of the mother. The decision affects reproductive rights and also influences debate and policy regarding abortion in the United States.
That this decision should not be held by a couple of justices. It's a decision between a doctor and a family, and that's how it's always been. And let's be clear, it's safe and accessible and has been for over 20 years, with hundreds of thousands of people using this medicine.
I look at it as a human rights issue. I feel like no one should be forced to go through anything that can essentially hurt them or even kill them. I feel like every woman should have the right to determine what happens to her body. If I'm lucky enough to have a daughter one day, I want that same right for her. I want that same right for any females in my family.
I feel that it's important for me to be able to try and make sure my future and the future for everyone my age and beyond has the ability to just have health care, to just be safe, to be able to have a choice about our bodies and our rights.
But since the Arizona Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade and enforced a long dormant Civil War era law enacted half a century before Arizona gained statehood, providing no exceptions for rape or incest and allowing abortion only if the mother's life is in jeopardy, the Supreme Court of Arizona has banned nearly all abortions, drastically altering the legal landscape for termination of pregnancy. The decision threw out an earlier lower court decision that concluded doctors could not be charged for performing abortions in the first 15 weeks of pregnancy.
I mean, in states where abortion bans have gone into effect, we've seen devastating consequences. You can see it in Texas, for example. You have people who need both elective abortions and medical care necessary to save their lives, and they're just unable to get it.
From the overturning of Roe v. Wade to the recent Arizona Supreme Court ruling, drastically altering the legal landscape for terminating pregnancies in a state likely to play a key role in the upcoming presidential election. Since its filing for overturn, the whole of America is divided, with Trump from the Republican Party against abortion, claiming the unborn child has a fundamental right to life which cannot be infringed, while the Democrats support access to safe and legal abortion.
It should be a constitutional right in the federal Constitution, a federal right. And it shouldn't matter where in America you live. This isn't about states' rights, it's about women's rights. I mean this. Look, folks, now he's worried the voters will hold him accountable for saying he's responsible for getting Roe v. Wade overturned.
Former President Donald Trump has expressed anti-abortion views throughout his political career. During his presidency, he consistently advocated for restrictions on abortion access and appointed conservative judges to federal courts, including the Supreme Court, who were seen as likely to uphold such restrictions. Trump's administration also implemented policies aimed at limiting federal funding for organizations that provide abortion services, such as the Title X gag rule. Overall, Trump's stance on abortion aligns with the anti-abortion positions typically held by many within the Republican Party. But since then, Trump has adopted a very liberal stance on the topic.
My view is now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land, in this case, the law of the state. Many states will be different. Many will have a different number of weeks, or some will have more conservative than others, and that's what they will be. At the end of the day, this is all about the will of the people. You must follow your heart or, in many cases, your religion or your faith. This 50-year battle over Roe v. Wade took it out of the federal hands and brought it into the hearts, minds, and vote of the people in each state.
USA being a federal state, with Roe v. Wade judgments being overturned, this will allow each state to decide its own laws. While there are 12 states that have a near-total ban on abortion, leading to strict laws and regulations, abortion is legal in states like California and in some other states like Idaho. Their courts are still deciding on the matter. Whatever may be the decision by the government or court, it will affect women in America.